What's up guys, Jeff Cavaliere, AthleanX.com. Today I stand next to greatness, the legendary Bruce Lee, and today you're going to learn from him because we're going to cover the most effective training principles of his time that still apply today.
Yeah!
Oh my lord. What are you doing? What are you wearing?
I'm wearing my Game of Death replica outfit because I love Bruce Lee and we're doing a Bruce Lee video today. Speaking of which, Bruce Lee, Master, can I challenge you to a kung fu fight because I would be honored to display my skills against you.
You realize he's a cardboard cutout, right, Jesse?
Are you saying he can't defend himself?
No, I would never say that about Bruce Lee, but...
So let me go prepare for my kung fu match with the great legendary Bruce Lee. And yeah!
I got nothing to say. Now, I think it's important to point out that while Bruce Lee was certainly a fitness icon, it wasn't necessarily the size of his muscles that commanded attention. With forearms at 11 to 12 inches, or even biceps at just 13 to 14, and wrists that were very, very tiny at just over 6 inches, and thighs that even measured at just 21 to 22 inches. There wasn't a single measurement that would define him as a very muscular guy, though some would argue that his 44-inch chest measurement was pretty damn impressive, considering especially the fact that it wasn't coming from his chest development, but more so the wraparound measurement effect that had to go all the way around those Cobra lats. But what is important is that it was the accumulation of all of those measurements that created one iconic physique, and one that not only looked good, but most importantly, could perform at the highest of levels. Talk about getting every single ounce out of one's body. That's exactly what Bruce Lee did. Now, when it comes to his workout, there's actually not that much that is specifically known about what it entailed. As a matter of fact, a lot of it is shrouded in mystery, like the man himself. There is one particular workout card that makes the rounds that people feel is the official workout of Bruce Lee. However, there's even some debate about this. But what I want you to notice is that the weight totals here are not incredibly high. And that is because what's most important about knowing specifically what exercises he did is more about knowing the principles of how he trained. And that brings us to the first one. Lift what can be lifted. It wasn't about the weight, it was about being able to command that weight from point A to point Z, which is something we talk about here all the time. And one of the ways he did this is by incorporating additional range of motion or more time under tension. And one of the famous ways for doing this was a launch curl. So not just curling the weight up, but then having to extend the arms out that demanded that the weight that he curled could be controlled at this longer moment arm. That means he might have to drop the weight just a little bit, but in return get much better contractions and focused intention with every single rep that he did. One of the techniques that I talked about on this channel was being able to stop a weight in motion at any point in motion, because that displays total command of the weight that you're lifting. We could take something like a front shoulder raise. Yeah, you might be able to swing the weight up, but could you stop them at any point on the way up or on the way down? The next time you do a lat pull down, don't just swing the weight down to your chest and pray for a safe return. Try to actually stop the weight and control it at any point in time, even just to prove to yourself that you're using a weight that allows you to lift what can be lifted. One of my favorite ways to do this is just to incorporate a couple sets of this on a dumbbell bench press. Yeah, you could do your straight sets, but why not incorporate at least one set where you can prove to yourself that you're commanding that weight at every single portion of every single repetition. Challenge yourself in your ability to command a weight through space, and I promise you, you may have to lower the weight just a little bit, but the levels of muscularity that you will see from this will go up in return. The next thing that doesn't show up on a workout card are the principles that Bruce Lee employed during the exercises that you're reading. So on those push-ups or on those bicep curls, where's it mentioned the use of isotension as a way to amplify the effects of those exercises? This was a technique used by the legend because he knew that contraction could create command. If you took a simple push-up and performed your repetitions to failure, but instead of resting in between sets, just simply got into a kneeling position and added to the contraction by crossing your arms over each other into adduction and increase that mind muscle development that might be lacking. Because every set of push-ups that you do, where you allow either the shoulders or the triceps to take over, is one set that you're taking away from the work capacity of the chest. And with each one of those, you're taking away from the potential development of that muscle. By simply incorporating these additional low-level, low-intensity contractions in between sets, you're neurologically grooving that ability to create a better contraction out of a muscle. And we can modernize this. It doesn't have to just occur on, let's say, a push-up. After the set of lat pull-downs, allow yourself to get into that good, solid back contraction. It might be the best one you felt the entire set, because maybe you were not obeying principle number one, you were using weight that you're just swinging around. And of course, Bruce Lee, as I mentioned, applied this to the curl as well. Again, you read just barbell curls, but what about employing this technique in between sets of those? Don't forget the opportunity that you have to do a little bit of this additional low-level contraction that is just an additive to the benefits of the first portion of that set, the one that we all do, but this part, the one we all forget to do. And while now Bruce Lee never demonstrated the highest levels, as we talked about, of absolute strength in the gym, why was it that he had such incredible strength when he actually did something? Because he had the ability to create total body strength, and he knew that creating strength was first and foremost about not losing strength. And we talk about this all the time, the energy leaks that are present in exercises that we do, and when we're not aware of them, well, we lose strength. One of the most famous ways he did this was with the fingertip push-up, or the two-finger push-up. He made this look incredibly easy. I, on the other hand, struggle very mightily here to do just a few repetitions, and I have an understanding of how to control strength and not lose it through these energy leaks. It's just a hard exercise. But what would make it a lot easier for you, or even possible when it might seem impossible right now, is by contracting the other muscles in the body when you perform it. Contract the quads, tighten the glutes, tighten your core, drive your toes into the floor. Start in a solid position, contract the triceps, extend the arms fully. By doing this, you're preventing the dissipation of energy, the exact energy that you need to drive not just into the floor, but most importantly, to drive your body back up in the opposite direction. But it doesn't just stop on a push-up. I've talked about how this can benefit you in any exercise that you do. The next time you do a pull-up, don't just allow yourself to hang from the bar. Set the kinetic chain up for success by pointing those toes down to engage the calves. Straightening those knees out by contracting the quads. Tightening the core, allowing your forearms and your arms to participate in the exercise. Again, there are some times when we want to be very isolatory on what we do, but there are other times when we want to teach the body how to use the muscles to cooperate with each other the way they prefer to. Even more complex variations of the pull-up are possible once you have this concept mastered. Because instead of just allowing your shoulder blades to just rotate upwards without control, keep them pinned to the rib cage. Let that serratus work. It provides the opportunity to move your body through space in ways you never knew were possible. Even something as simple as a side lateral raise. I bet you find yourself kind of lazily lifting the arm out to the side. But if you actually increase tension throughout the entire arm, and I'm doing it here with a bent arm, but you could do this with a straight arm also. Engaging the forearms, engaging the wrist, engaging the muscle of the upper arms, not just the delts, but also just getting tension through the entire arm. You'll see that that kinetic chain from the fingertips up to the shoulder will feel stronger and move more efficiently through space. Again, gaining strength by first not losing strength. And he did this famously in other ways too, mostly with overcoming isometrics, done on either a press or a squat. And basically what he would do is just set the pins up to a location where he would push into them, realizing that the bar is not going to go any further, but what it did was increase the muscle recruitment capacity on the exercise, allowing your body to become more efficient through less dissipation of force. Because again, when we lose force in the exercise we're trying to perform, then what we do is we sap strength by losing it first. Guys, understanding this principle can change the game for you in terms of not just how your workouts are, but the results that you see from them. It should come as no surprise that with a body as lean as Bruce Lee's, he knew a thing or two about nutrition. But surprisingly, his principle was very basic. He kept it simple. You are what you eat. An adage as old as time that applies today just as much as it did back then. But why do we screw this up? Because we forget to focus on what we're doing in that 23 hours outside of the gym. And that's one thing that Bruce Lee never did. As a matter of fact, he was one of the first people to have a juicer, an industrial-grade juicer in his house, because he relied on that as a source of getting in adequate amounts of fruits and vegetables each and every day. He was also a big believer in limiting the consumption of starchy carbohydrates, and most importantly, sugars, because he called them empty calories that provided no real benefit to him or his training. But he did have a high priority on protein, and not just in the consumption of his whole food options, like lean beef, chicken, or fish, but he also placed a high importance on protein powder as a means of increasing his protein consumption, and most importantly, the ease of consuming more protein. We all know that a good protein powder can be an irreplaceable benefit to those looking to reach higher levels of protein consumption in a day, simply because of the ease of consuming it. Myself, I actually have my own protein powder that I take every single day for that exact reason. As a matter of fact, I think if this existed, this would probably be the choice of Bruce Lee. Okay, maybe not. But the point is, you have to care about what you put in your body if you want to see the best results from your body when you're training or when you're just simply looking in the mirror. And whether it's taking a punch to the gut or you lifting more weight in the gym, there's one mandatory asset that Bruce Lee and I both know, and that is your abs should be like steel. In other words, you need to have a strong core. And while most of Bruce Lee's work focused on creating rigidity and resilience in your abs, we know today that the core can be a great contributor of power and explosiveness. But when we look at Bruce Lee's training, we look no further than the Dragon Flag for how this was done. He believed that this exercise was the epitome of core strength and control. And he was right. Because in order to do this effectively, you can't just do it with your abs. You need to have glute contraction as well. You need to incorporate all the muscles of the hip and pelvis to be able to do this exercise properly. I mean, look at even my lats as I do this exercise. They too are fired up. Why? They're a core muscle. They have attachments to the pelvis. And even if you can't do this exercise, it doesn't mean that you can't obtain the same benefits other ways. One of my favorite ways to do this is through the plate drag. It's employing a heavy weight that I have to still maintain that rigidity of my torso as I drag the weight from side to side, preventing any excessive rotation in the process. Or something as simple as a step out, which works on that lateral pillar strength, keeping your hands centered in front of you as you take a step against the resistance of the band, making sure not to allow it to break you or tilt you back in the direction of the anchor point. Or taking it to a whole nother level, literally, as we jump up to a bar and perform a slow, controlled movement like the oblique twist. The bottom line is, while you might be obsessed with lifting the iron in the gym, you better be equally obsessed with getting a metallic midsection here, preferably steel, if you want to be the most resilient in everything that you do. And, oh, Jesse, no, Jesse, no.
Oh, God, my groin. Oh, that's an adductor.
He still kicked your ass, buddy.
I don't want to talk about it.
Guys, remember, legends become legendary because they offer lots to learn. We all can learn from this legend right here. If you're looking for a workout that we put together, the Bruce Lee ab workout, you can find it right here. In the meantime, if you're looking for things to learn from me, you can do them over at athletenext.com. I hope you found this video helpful. If you did, make sure you click subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss a new video when we put one out. All right, guys, see you soon.